All right. A couple days ago on Sunday, I talked about this Bloom Energy. Pretty nice setup going on over there. And then I made reference to some of these other kind of pure play fuel cell symbols here, like Ballard, F-Cell, and Plug. Today, just going to take a quick look at Ballard Power Systems. This chart's definitely not quite as beautiful as the Bloom Energy setup. Um, the primary reason I say that uh, is maybe more from a wave theory standpoint. You can, if you zoom in on this, you can definitely, it looks like you could count it as a 5 wave move, then a 3 wave pullback, and you might be able to get 5 waves out of this too. But the issue I take with this is that it undercut instead of continuing on, and so I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Maybe some of the wave theory pros out there could weigh in. This one has a pretty small market cap. It looks like it's only a little over 500 million in comparison to Bloom, which is 8 billion. Right, so Ballard's a lot smaller of a company here. But this seems like corrective price action from everything I know. Which again, I'm not a wave theory pro, but I do find it somewhat alarming that this was undercut. I'm still in this one. I jumped in it, after this really admittedly weird looking move. Right, this is just a weird looking move. But we just had this kind of straight down move with all this volume. Again, platinum clued me into this. Seeing all the volume and the breakout on platinum, and then looking at what is using platinum. Fuel cells came up, so that's got me in it, and I'd like to think that we can at least retrace 382 of this down move. uh, we can retrace at least 382 of that without taking out this low. And I know it looks like a 1-to-1 trade because of the log scale of the chart, but it's actually over a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio here. So, I just kind of, once this moving average started going, I just said, hey, I'm going to buy some of this. I'm definitely going to take probably half of it off at this target here and then just see what happens. Probably move the stop right under the low, see what happens there. Um, I know a lot of these trading videos. A lot of folks don't like to show their positions, but I don't know. I think it's helpful. I mean, if you're going to share the setups, for new people, I kind of like to show how the risk reward can be set up. So if you don't know, Fibonacci, after a big move, it's pretty common to get a pullback to at least a 382. So this came back to a 768, which is a pretty deep 786. I'm sorry, pretty deep retracement. So yeah, in all likelihood, I think it's going to go up and get that 382. You can take about half off, and then maybe this turns into something. I don't love this pattern. If this was a flat, like it would be cool if you could just say, okay, this is a 1 2 sorry, a one, an A, a B, and a C, but this is way too high to be an overshooting B wave, right? That we should just at worst maybe just overcut this just a little bit and then come in. The fact that it went this high and then came down, it's just a little alarming. But we've got all this volume here after a big move, and that's pretty good. That's good enough for me, at least for the size that I have on this trade, which isn't that large. Um, but that's how I'm looking at Ballard right now. From a more momentum standpoint, we had some really nice ADX uh, for the Bulls here. Right now, obviously, Bears in control, although they're not really. We got a little bit of an ADX reading on this way down, but nowhere near as high as the bullish moves up. So that's pretty good. MACD, we have the crossover with some pinches, but what's kind of a bummer is we're making our way back to the zero line without a ton of follow through, which is maybe a little bit of a bummer. But there's still plenty of room to the zero line here on the monthly, and then if we move over here on the weekly, we do have kind of a sideways low ADX on this weird move down, and we are just getting over the zero line, so that's pretty good look right there. Um, probably expecting, at least in the short term, a couple of red candles. You know, at least maybe one more. Yeah, it could go. Anything can happen. Anything can happen, of course. But I'm expecting just a couple more red candles, and then we'll see. You know, maybe it'll come down and match this low. Any number of things could happen, but I do think that this is going to hit the target before it takes out this low. It's just a matter of what's it going to do after that, right? I guess we have earnings coming up here shortly. We'll see what to make of those. I'm not sure if there's any. Ballard. I'm sorry, Bloom just had the news with Oracle. I'm not sure what's going on with Ballard. I'm not really a news guy, but I guess we'll just see what happens. I'll probably weigh in on the other two fuel cell charts at some point. Right now, I'm thinking just doing like one per video, and then we'll go from there. Maybe go to some other sectors, but I like to talk about areas that maybe aren't getting a ton of coverage. I'm big into gold miners, silver miners, um, uranium, stuff like that. But those are covered by so many people. I just don't know that I can really add a whole lot to you know, that whole analysis. So I think that I can maybe add some value by talking about some of these lesser known areas here. But I think that's it for now. I hope you enjoy. We'll see what happens with this one. It'll be interesting to watch. Thanks.